Are we live?
Oh, yeah, sorry. You know what? I was just like, yeah, we're just live.
I love it. Everybody, how we doing? Welcome to The Appeal. I'm Chris Malzewski with Hail Hail Auctions, and of course, my great friend and production extraordinaire, Monsieur Yassatorat with Brilliant Beam Media. We're having some technical difficulties, if you can't tell. We'll get to that a little bit later. So we're thrown off as always, but it wouldn't be an appeal if there wasn't like some wonky start, right, Sia?
Dude, I don't, you know what? I think it's a, how should I put it? Life is an adventure and it's always imperfect, right? So, hey, we're going to live a
Hey, it's
little,
like
live on
being an
the edge.
auctioneer. I'll tell you, I held an auction. I hosted an auction on Saturday. Of course, we tested the microphones and dry run, what have you. I get on stage, and for two items, the microphone went dead. So I'm yelling and literally selling two items with my own voice. Right? You make adjustments as you can. It's what you got to do, right? And like we always say, technology is a blessing and a curse.
It absolutely is.
All right. Well, we're blessed nonetheless, speaking of blessings and technology, but we're blessed to have such a great sponsor. And if you don't know, this show would not be possible without our presenting sponsor, Speakeasy Custom Tattoo. And Speakeasy Custom Tattoo is located in the Wicker Park neighborhood of Chicago in the historic Flatiron Building. And with over 30 years of experience, they have a curated staff of magnificently talented local and international artists, and they continue to host monthly guests, artists from all around the world. They're an appointment-only custom tattoo shop offering a wide range of styles and a clean and relaxing atmosphere. And no matter the style that you're looking for, Speakeasy will absolutely help make your vision come to life. So please be sure to check out their artists at their website at www.speakeasycustomtattoo.com. We hope to see you there soon. Be sure to tell them Chris sent you. See, yeah, we always get into you not having tattoos. I think what we're going to start, and I'm going to talk to the folks at Speakeasy, Kelly and Patrick. I think we're going to start to require and mandate our guests tell us if they have any tattoos so we can.
Oh,
That would be like, the tattoo of the week sponsored by Speakeasy, and maybe we can start highlighting. Anyways, I digress. Let's get to that intro so we can kick the show off.
let's do it.
I can't be dancing too hard. I got to save my energy, and so I'm not too sore for what's coming this week. You know what's ahead for me, don't you?
Wait, what's this? Wait, what's this week?
Oh, well, it was my birthday on Saturday, so
Oh,
happy
that's
birthday
true.
to me,
Happy
43.
belated.
Thank you
Yes,
very much.
I'm a
Uh,
terrible friend. I forgot. Happy belated
I'm too old
birthday
for
to
that. I'm
you.
too old. I'm too old for that. But I was very fortunate and overwhelmed. So many people on LinkedIn and the various platforms wished me happy birthday and calls and texts. Super cool, nonetheless. Thank you. I appreciate and love you all. But more importantly than my 43rd birthday, this Thursday, I'm going to be down in Atlanta taking in Pearl Jam, and it's going to be my 75th time ever seeing them. And so that's a milestone nonetheless. So I'm super fired up for that, Sia.
I'm super excited for you, my friend. So,
I
I
know,
mean,
and we have a
wait,
good we have a concert coming this fall. We just planned. You're coming to Chicago for the Lyric Opera House rendition of "Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness" in Chicago. So we're gonna go to opening night. You're gonna be my guest. It's gonna be a lot of fun. But speaking of fun, like I said earlier, I had a lot of fun this past Saturday conducting an auction for a local congregation. And one of the items which we funded, if you will, was an effort to uplift faith feeds. And it's just such a great collaboration between local community churches and a very much needed food pantry here in the northwest suburbs of Chicago and Cook County. And I've gotten to know our next guest, Michael DeMeyer, in various networking groups. And he's just been so kind and welcoming to me and helping me meet some other nonprofit folks here in the area. And Sia, as you know, and the folks don't know, we were laughing about technology issues. Michael's microphone has not been working. for the last half hour, but we just got a note that he thinks he's got it working. So we're going to bring him to the stage. Sia, you stay on in case it's not. But if it's working, we're going to start on with the show. And if not, we're going to just kick back a few and wrap quickly after that. But let's try and keep our fingers crossed.
All right, kids, here we go. Drum roll, drum roll, drum roll. Hello, Michael.
Michael, you got to sing.
Yeah!
We did.
Yes. Awesome. That's really exciting.
Folks, we have no idea. It's been 40 minutes of sweating.
Yes.
And
there's only like a little problem solving right off the bat.
Okay, I have to ask, what the heck was going on?
It was with my it wasn't the software. It was like some sort of, I had to like hold down the the function key and then just start pressing keys until I found like the right match for my microphone. It's worked on every single other device I've ever used, and so I have no idea why it's like this now. But
we're here. You're here nonetheless. It's like when you're calling the cable company and just smashing zero until you get to a human, right? That's what, all right. We'll see ya. Good news. Sorry for you. You got to go backstage, but Michael, the floor is yours. I'm so excited. As I was saying, I've gotten to know you over the last year in various networking groups. And working in, at a congregation's function, time and talent auction this past Saturday. We helped raise some money for some of your initiatives. So if you don't mind, please tell folks who you are and what Faith Feeds is all about.
Yeah. Thanks again for having me on the show. My name is Michael DeMeyer. I'm on the board of directors with Faith Feeds. We're a food pantry based in Palatine. I also do another bunch of different roles sort of behind the scenes to kind of make sure that everything is going, especially related to fundraising and that sort of thing. Faith Feeds we're a food pantry. We're based in a building known as the Community Resource Center in Palatine, which is roughly at the intersection of Rand and Dundee Roads, for those who are familiar with the area. We're open there twice a week, but we also operate a mobile food pantry that goes out to large apartment complexes in Palatine, Rolling Meadows, and Arlington Heights. And through this, we have sort of a larger sphere of impact than maybe some your typical food pantry. We're a very community-driven product. We came out of a local church, and we're now a collaboration. We have 3 major church partners, but we're really a collaboration of the area faith community as a whole. And through that, we've been able to make a pretty strong and profound difference in the lives of many of the folks who live in the area. In any given month, our food pantry, between the regular food pantry and the mobile food pantry, will feed over 2,000 families in Palatine and the surrounding communities.
Unbelievable. But you're sandbagging, man. Like, you're holding back a little bit. First, I want to just say what I know about the work you do for Faith Feeds is not just sitting on the board and a few things here and there. Like, you're the marketing guy, you're the fundraising guy, you're the vice chair on the board, you're the champion out in the community, networking on a consistent basis, spreading the word. And you're such an inspiration because you put your money, so to speak, where your mouth is, because as you know, in not-profit space, it's a lot of volunteer work, right? And you're starting to see the fruits of your labor, frankly, as Faith Feeds grows and serves more people, which of course is a great thing. Unfortunately, those that need it, of course, but there's also some challenges that we've talked about over coffee, and we've talked about behind the scenes as the organization grows. So if you don't mind, talk a little bit about where Faith Feeds has been, where it is now, and where you guys see it going in the future.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I'll say we've been fortunate to have a lot of folks have been able to step up and kind of help us in a lot of those roles. I was very involved, for example, with marketing earlier on, but now we've been able to have some folks to step up and kind of take over in that regard. But yeah, I mean, right now we're in a position where we're really kind of emerging as an organization on a professional level. We were, for all intents and purposes, a very, very small thing before COVID. We were kind of just getting our feet out under us. We were seeing about 125 families a month at that point, and we knew, just based on our conversations with schools, police, et cetera, other community leaders, that the need in our community was considerably higher than that, and we weren't quite sure how we were going to, sort of fix that need. Then COVID happened, and that very suddenly brought a lot of people to our gates. That we were able to help a lot of folks during that time, and that helped get the word out. And then, in order to sort of solve that accessibility issue, that's kind of when we launched the mobile food pantry, and that again has caused a pretty big impact in our communities. So all told, we've seen a dramatic increase in the need for our services just over these past couple of years before COVID, and so we kind of got to the point where it became important for us as an organization to start to look at how we're going to take this thing that we've built, which, again, has grown from about 125 families a month to over 2,000 families a month. How are we going to sort of sustain this momentum that we've had? How are we going to build on this? How are we going to prepare for the future? And how are we going to prepare, if circumstances change, for example, in the near future, if there are any changes to, SNAP food stamps, that sort of thing. We need to we're in the process right now of again, sort of becoming the sort of professional entity. We received our 501c3 last year, so we're very excited about that. That's kind of sort of pushing us into the future. We recently just launched our website at faithfeedsfp.org. And so right now it's all about trying to harness this momentum that we've built and to become this type of organization, figure out how we can continue to build so that we can continue to deliver this high quality experience to the people who come to our doors. We try to provide a good variety of food for these people, and look to see, okay, how can we take what we've built and make it better? How can we have better food options for people? How can we increase our impact in the community? Because food insecurity is still a very major issue up in the northwest suburbs of Cook County, just as it is across the country. And it's going to take a lot of creativity and thinking in order to figure out how we are going to, solve this very major and pressing issue, which affects a lot of families in our neighborhoods.
Yeah, so well said. And again, it's so great for me to hear. And again, I'm not trying to dismiss any of your other co-volunteers. I know your organization is growing and there's more hands on deck and you're creating more awareness and therefore more people are volunteering, which again is so inspiring. And we also talked, a little bit about some of the successes you folks had in 2024. And so, Sia, if you don't mind, please bring that document up. It's just so cool. Michael, you shared some things about what you guys accomplished in 24. And if you don't mind, you want to speak to some of them and how you guys go about accomplishing some of these amazing numbers.
Yeah, the scale of what it takes to serve 2,000 families is obviously very large. We have a partnership with the Greater Chicago Food Depository, and so we are able to have great purchasing power with donations that are made to us, with a considerable amount of donated food and discounted food as well. But you can see just in these numbers what sort of impact we're able to make in the people's lives, people's refrigerators. We always aim to be able to distribute milk at all of our distributions. That's, of course, kind of expensive. We aim to distribute eggs, and as you know, that is very expensive right now.
I was going to just say, like last year, okay, so 13,115 dozen eggs. So multiply that number by 12, even though I'm an auctioneer, I'm not that great with math. But, that's now like 2.5 times the cost. So, without making much light of it, obviously we got to laugh at life about some of the things. Otherwise, we drive ourselves crazy. But talk about the impact financially, what that alone has done for your organization and what, that's caused the ripple effect.
Yeah, and with eggs, of course, that's quite a bit of a challenge these days, and we can no longer quite make the same promises there until we kind of have the financial support to back that. But we really try to aim to provide a vast array of healthy options for people who come to our food pantry. We don't want folks to come here and just get the usual litany of canned foods and whatnot. We really aim to be able to provide protein-rich options such as milk and eggs. You usually be able to take home frozen meats, and we'll have all sorts of different items for folks to walk away with, so that they're not just walking home with a box of canned goods. But yeah, that's being able to do that takes a considerable amount of effort for our organization, and this is why we're always looking to develop partnerships with the community to find new opportunities to bring in donated food, to bring in new volunteers, to bring in food drives to support this. So there are just a great variety of ways that the community can help us in this project that we've been able to kind of launch and help so many families.
Yeah, absolutely. So folks, if you haven't already, please, as the message says at the bottom of your screen, go to www.faithfeedsfp.org, and you could research and find out some ways for you to chip in a few dollars or continue to help expand services with partnerships, as Michael said, or volunteer some of your own time. Michael, you made some reference earlier, about two things I want to hone in on. One, I want to ask a very important question. And as I was working this past weekend, as I said, with one of your partner congregations working to raise money, something stood out to me, and they were talking about culturally appropriate food items, right? And are you guys seeing within your own work a greater need for that, right? And we're trying, of course, to uplift as many of our community members as possible, and make sure that they could feel at home and they have dignity within their own food and such things. But are you guys, working towards that as well?
Yeah, that's an important goal for our organization, is to be able to offer a variety of foods, not only that is healthy, but also that is congruent with the uh, taste of the folks coming through our doors. We see large specialized populations. We have a large local Hispanic population. We have a large local Ukrainian population, other Eastern Europeans, and so we want to make sure that our offerings to them are, something that they would want to take home, something that they would be happy cooking for their families. And that's why we're always aiming to be better, always aiming to continue to take what we have and build on it, so that we can improve the experience for the people coming through, because it's very important to consider these folks who are coming to us, in their time of need. That we want them to be comfortable, because it's not always a very comfortable experience to come to a food pantry, especially if it's your first time. And so in order to do that, we need to make sure that we're listening to them, make sure we're communicating with them, make sure that we know what they want, what they're interested in, and make sure that the offerings that we have reflect those desires and reflect those wants, so that they can be comfortable coming to us if they are in a time of need, and feel comfortable leaving our facility, with what they've left with. We partner with an organization known as Partners for Our Communities, and so when people come into our food pantry, which is located in a building run by POC, and owned and operated by Endeavor Health, they're able to come and see what other programming is available to them. POC has partnerships with organizations such as Palatine Library, Harvard College. So, for example, they offer a lot of job skills classes, ESL classes, stuff like that. Bridge, Youth and Family Services, Wings, all sorts of different partnerships within POC. And so we're usually the first point of contact for a lot of folks who are entering kind of a time of need. That's usually kind of when you have to really kind of start to take a look at your situation when you need to go to the food pantry to support your family. And so we're able to immediately be able to jump in and say, hey, here's some other opportunities that you might be interested in, if that interests you, if this is something that you need. And now we can connect you with ways to kind of help you get back on your feet, and to kind of maybe help you get to the next step, and so that you may not need our services in the future.
Unbelievable. And, as my work is expanding and I'm meeting, more great people like yourself in the local community here in the northwest suburbs of Chicago, I'm finding such comfort in knowing that there is such great collaboration. You mentioned Bridge Youth Services, right? And of course, I just worked for a congregation that supports you folks, and the Rotary of Schaumburg Hoffman Estates, right? And so all of these organizations coming together to create an ecosystem to uplift those in their greatest time of need is so impactful in the community. But you made mention, and I wanted not to glance over, concerns and conversations about legislation, reduction in food stamps and SNAP benefits, and all of those types of things. And so, talk about what your knowledge is, not to get too political here, but to understand what some of the proposed legislation, some of the fears within your own organization about budget cuts and funding cuts, how would that impact your organization?
Yeah, so there's obviously it's a big unknown at this point. We don't really know what the future is going to kind of look like as far as food insecurity is going to be concerned. We have a pretty good authority that at least for the next 3 or 4 months, we're going to be on pretty firm footing as far as how we're acquiring our food and all that. But in the future, obviously, it's a bit of a murkier image. At the federal level, obviously, like I said, SNAP is kind of the major thing that we're all looking at. So there's a lot of different a lot of stuff has been thrown out there that it potentially could have some pretty substantial have a pretty big impact on SNAP and folks' ability to get it. We obviously don't want to see any limitations to people being able to access SNAP benefits, because anyone who's not accessing SNAP benefits is probably just going to be pushed to organizations such as ours. And we would prefer that, that we want to serve as a supplementation to SNAP and not necessarily
It's
be.
so funny, not to cut you
Oh.
off, but I had Beth Neighbors on the appeal a couple weeks ago, obviously with Journeys the Road Home here and just down the street. And she's like, I want my organization to go out of business, right? And it's a tough way to think about it, but as you said, right, there's this balance of like, we want to serve everybody, but we don't want to have too many people to serve, because that means there's greater need, which is an unfortunate environment in which we live in today's society. And of course, the funding. Yeah, I mean, it's got to be such a challenge. And so I want to ask you, with all that being said, talk about how you are funded, right? What does it take to run your organization aside from volunteer hours and donations of food and of that sort? But, talk about the money aspect, and, let's hope we can get maybe a few dollars sent your way through the show, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's primarily a community-driven effort. We don't really look at operational expense. We have some local grants that we can sort of rely on, like your Rotary grants, that sort of thing. But we are primarily an organization that's funded by our local community. A lot of folks make their donations through the church, but increasingly, especially within the last year, we're starting to branch out and start to see more donations from folks in the community. We're kind of starting to, as I say, we're kind of starting to get our name out there. People are starting to see, number one, the scale of food insecurity in their communities, as well as our ability to impact to make a difference in that area. And so we've kind of built up this trust over the last couple of years that people know that when they contribute to our organization, that it's going to a cause that is having a pretty sizable impact on local food insecurity. Our zip code 60074 in Palatine has some of the highest poverty metrics in the area. So Northwest Community Hospital, which is in Arlington Heights, they recently did a big study, and of the 20 zip codes that they serve, and of those 20 zip codes, that zip code in Palatine was number one for folks who are living within 200% of the poverty line. It was number two for folks who are spending at least 30% of their take-home money on housing. Painted a pretty broad picture of a community in need, but food insecurity, at least for the last year, was only 7th out of 20. And so we're happy to see our impact kind of made in numbers. But at the same time, when we look at numbers like that, which is still, I think it looks like it's about 1 in 8 families in Palatine still experience food insecurity. We still see other communities, the other zip codes that are higher than ours, and it only makes us want to be able to go out and make an impact in their communities as well. But that sort of thing's not going to be possible for us until we're of a certain footing where we're able to better serve and better supply our mobile food pantry, which again is able to kind of take the services that we have and bring them outside of our kind of brick and mortar imprint, and be able to reach communities such as Arlington Heights and Rolling Meadows, and be able to bring our services there. And every time that we do that, we look and see, okay, well, here's an area in Schaumburg, here's another area in Arlington Heights, which also needs this service, but we only have so much of an ability in our organization's current state to be able to make that impact. And so that's part of the reason why it's so important for us to be able to get to this step of being able to better to build this sort of financial base for our organization, so that we can take this thing that we've built, that has this great impact in our area, and be able to number one, increase its impact in our zip code, but also to expand that to other areas as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So well said, right? It's a problem needing solved, unfortunately, and you guys are doing an amazing job of making an effort in your part, right? And making your own little part of the world as better as possible. And it happens to be where I live and in my community as well. And so I thank you so much for the work that you do, Michael, and that Faith Feeds and all the partner organizations that support your efforts. And so, real quick before we sign off, I want to give you an opportunity, if you want to highlight and thank some of your partners, but also let those watching and listening know where they could connect with you if they're interested in some collaboration or just understanding better who you are, what you do, and more about Faith Feeds. And of course, if you haven't already, go to faithfeedsfp.org and you can find out more about the organization there. But, we have a few more minutes, Michael, again, let folks know how they can get in touch with you, and, we'll move on about our day here in a few.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Yeah, so again, we're a output of a local faith community. We view ourselves as an organization that's the greater faith community as a whole. In particular, the three sort of core churches who are sort of involved in our leadership are All Saints Lutheran in Palatine, St. Thomas of Villanova in Palatine, and Holy Family in Inverness. Again, we're a member of Partners for Our Communities, which is a local organization that helps facilitate those relationships between our organizations. And we couldn't do what we do without the support from the Greater Chicago Food Depository, as well as Endeavor Health, who owns our building. You can, if you want to come out and see us, we'll actually be this Saturday. We'll be out at the Palatine Big Trucks event. So if you have little kids in the area, and they like honking horns, you should be able to hear that if you are in Palatine, if you keep your ears open. But yeah, we'll be there. We'll be there on Saturday morning if you want to come out and say hi. But yeah, it's we've been proud to be able to be this reflection of the faith community in our community. We're proud that we're able to say that, okay, in a time when a lot of people have a bit of cynicism about the church's ability to make an impact, we can say, well, in this area, you can clearly see this impact being made. If you want to learn more about our organization, again, we have our website just launched at faithfeedsfp.org. You can also visit us on Facebook at facebook.com/faithfeeds. Again, my name is Michael DeMeyer. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn, and I'll be happy to talk with you, sit down with you, and help spread the word about our organization and what we do. And yeah, just anything you can do to kind of help bring awareness to our organization. Again, we've kind of just emerged into this space, and there's still a lot of growing pains along with that. But we're very happy to be able to make the impact that we have. We look forward to the impact that we can make in the future. And we hope that folks will hear this and want to help us as well. So again, visit our website if you want to learn more, and look forward to continue to build this organization and see what we can do in the future.
Unbelievable. Yeah, it's just such a great mission, and there's such a great group of people coming together, regardless of faiths and such, to make sure that their little corner of the world is again that much better, safer. And as somebody said in the chat, my passion for mental health and understanding food insecurity and how that impacts one's mental health. So you're working to solve that problem as well, and I thank you. And if you want to connect with me, I'm Chris Malzewski with Hail Hail Auctions. I'm on all the things, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube at Hail Hail Auctions, or you can connect with me, Chris Malzewski, just like it sounds. Good luck spelling it. But nevertheless, we have some great partners. And again, this show would not be possible. Michael, before we get to them, thank you for all you do. You've been a great guest. I can't wait to learn more, hopefully work together in the future. I'm going to volunteer some of my time, bring my kids out and let them know what it's like on this side of the world. And we should be thankful for what we have. And we're going to help make our corner better, like I said. So again, our show would not be possible without our presenting sponsors, Speakeasy Custom Tattoo. Shout out to Kelly and Patrick. I have an appointment coming up, so we're going to have some new art on my body here in a little bit. Of course, Brilliant Beam Media. This show is not possible without my amazing friend and co-partner, Sia Yasatora at Brilliant Beam Media. Again, produces such an amazing show, as you've seen. Some of our other great sponsors, Balancing Act, Tammy Fisher. Thank you very much. Of course, today's sponsor and guest, Michael, you and Faith Feeds, and Miss Janice Shokran with Tausi. So, Sia, let's get to that commercial. We'll end the outro. Have a great rest of your day. Michael, you're the best. I appreciate you. Hail, hail, everybody.
Falling asleep with your neck in the wrong position can be a real pain in the neck. Literally. People of all ages are falling for Tausi. Tausi gives you the comfort you've always dreamed of. Go to TausiBrands.com and get your comfort on.